Welcome to the SEO Sing Show, where we break down the content strategies to take your blog or e-commerce website to rank on the top, or even get you or your brand social media famous. So get ready to create content like a pro with your host, who's a content consultant to the leading brands worldwide, Karan Singh.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. So today I have with me is Adi Suja, who is also a LinkedIn influencer. Now this is gonna be a very new term or new thing you might have heard. Everyone wants to get LinkedIn famous, especially people who are into B2B or looking for job or any other purposes that can be solved from LinkedIn. He is also the owner of Growth Club, and I came across his profile and I just knew that this is the person who I want on the 100th episode. Welcome to the show, Adi.
Very good to be on the show.
So, Adi, we do this thing like on every 50th episode, we call someone as a guest who's like a celebrity or someone who's really famous in their particular niche. And there was like two things I was always stuck on. First is to get in touch with a LinkedIn expert, because most of the audience that I to be very honest, like I completely stopped doing LinkedIn for I think 3 or 4 years in a row, because I was totally into B2C business and helping clients into B2C. And when I started my podcast, I got active on LinkedIn, and the most of the people I get on the podcast, like the listeners, are from LinkedIn. So, and it's completely changed the way it used to work and everything. It's like my new place to see information, new place to consume data. What is the new Google update, whatever it is, it's there. And I see your profile and it's really amazing, the kind of engagement you are getting, the kind of growth you are getting, and everything that is there on your profile about every single update that you do. There is a proper strategy behind it, and we really want to understand how you went into it. So let's first start with why LinkedIn, like why instead of any other marketing services you chose this as the major niche for your company.
Okay, so now it's common knowledge that there's 650 million people on LinkedIn and 250 monthly active users. But what most people don't know is that only 3 million users share content on a weekly basis. So that's just a little over 1% of the monthly users that LinkedIn has. Now, this is the gap that is available on LinkedIn today. So when you think about Facebook, for example, 10 years back, when Facebook launched the feed, you could see updates from your connections, from your friends. But essentially what happened was there was a huge gap in the number of content creators and the number of content consumers. Now, Facebook slowly bridged. Right now, biggest brands in the world are actively spending money for content creation, for content marketing on LinkedIn, right? Sorry, on Facebook. But LinkedIn still has this huge gap when it comes to the reach potential, the organic reach potential that your content can achieve if you are consistently creating and marketing content. Very easy way to understand this is why videos go viral so quickly, so easily on TikTok is because there is an even bigger gap between the number of content creators, the number of people who create and share videos on TikTok, as opposed to the number of people who are seeing those videos, right? So it's this gap that what makes LinkedIn so attractive to a lot of marketers who are trying to build their brand and trying to build their business. In addition to this, say for example, if you're in the B2B space and you're trying to market to enterprises and stuff, LinkedIn is the most used social media platform amongst Fortune 500 companies, which is exactly why say 80% of B2B leads come from LinkedIn versus say 13% on Twitter and 7% on Facebook.
Wow,
so 80% of B2B marketers, again, all across the world, marketing across multiple channels, agree that LinkedIn is an excellent source of leads. In fact, the visitor lead conversion rate is 2.7%, if I remember correctly, and that's almost 3% higher, 3 times higher than Twitter, which is at around 0.7%, and Facebook, which is around 0.8%. So again, you learn these stats as you run an agency that focuses on LinkedIn marketing, which is what we've been doing over the past 3 years. I can tell you, like, while the biggest advantage is that is the organic reach potential of your content on LinkedIn. The secondary advantages, you could say, are the audience that's available on LinkedIn. Say enterprises to SMBs, everybody is on LinkedIn, and it's a professional platform geared towards content creation, towards professional content, as opposed to say Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, which are used for all kinds of purposes.
True. And another thing is, like, it's very less spammed so far. With all the number of bots that we are receiving on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Facebook is completely, if you're putting money to distribute your content, so then that's the only way to reach to the maximum number of people through Facebook. Same is happening nowadays with Instagram, but LinkedIn organic reach is way higher. Like, if someone likes your post, most of the times all their followers are going to see that post. That's like the best thing that can happen. And the platform, as you said, there are very less creators on LinkedIn, so this makes platform very less crowded. There are a lot of consumers but very less creators, so that makes the platform really amazing for actually targeting professionals or business professionals. But
Precisely.
Adi, we would like to know, like, what would still be your best strategies, because I came across your profile. It's not just that you post a post or something. You have a very unique, let's say, copywriting skill or storytelling skill, which hooks the person up to click on the see more. Because I went on few of your updates, and almost all of them have gone really crazy viral. So how do you come up with those stories?
So the content type or the content format that you're referring to is called experiential stories. Now, let me give you like a bit of background about this. When I started marketing on LinkedIn, I had literally zero knowledge on, like, say, okay, how do I start generating leads for my business? Or when we started out, we were a growth marketing company. We were just helping other businesses to build their brand online, to start generating leads, to generate brand awareness and stuff. So when we started out, I had literally no idea in sales or actually generating leads for my business. All I knew was content creation, maybe a little bit of outreach, content marketing, and stuff like that. So we started out trying to generate leads for our business on LinkedIn, and over time we began to understand that okay, this could potentially be a service that we offered for clients, and then we start introduce it as a service, and later on we decided, okay, this is the one channel that is creating the most ROI for our clients. So let's say focus on LinkedIn alone. And the way in which we approached this was we started running a shit ton of experiments. So I think there were months where we ran over 100 or 200 experiments every single month in terms of how to optimize your profile, or how to, like, say, create different types of content, how to build your trust degree network on LinkedIn and stuff like that, how to do messaging sequences. So over time, we understood that there are several types of content that work on LinkedIn. A simple example I can give you is if you post, like, say, a text post with some post copy, and you add an image with it, chances are the post won't do good. But at the same time, if you publish a post which has some post copy and you upload a bunch of images, say more than one image, it optimizes the post for the CTR, or the click-through rate, because the users who see the post have to click on each of the image and to see the full version of the image, and that optimizes that post for click-through rate, or CTR, which is one of the signals that LinkedIn takes into account to understand if the post is engaging or not. So they have CTR as a signal built into their algorithm, just like we have SEO factors for Google. We have algorithm factors that LinkedIn algorithm takes into account to understand if a post is engaging or not. And we have signals like CTR and dwell time. And if you're uploading multiple images, it tends to optimize it for the algorithm. So we began understanding these little nuances of the LinkedIn over the experiments, and we came up with a bunch of content types that that are proven to work on LinkedIn. So experiences stories or talking about your own experiences in a story format is one of the content formats that we came up with. And to be frank, it's the only content type that I use on my profile at the moment, and we built our entire business over experiences stories.
Wow, that's really amazing. And the best part about LinkedIn is the push and the way it works, not against you, but in form of like with you. The whole algorithm of LinkedIn, because when it comes to Google SEO, even if you have written the most amazing blog on the internet on some particular keyword, then also there is a very less chance for next 1 year your blog will be on the top ranking with high volume search. But on LinkedIn, if you would, if like you get the feeling while you're writing the stuff, oh my god, this will be getting a lot of likes and this won't be getting a lot of likes, because nowadays like I'm scheduling a different kind of tips and all. And if I'm scheduling SEO tips and all, if I show a little bit of more emotion in the tip or emotion and make it a storyline, I know this will get a lot more likes than just a very technical tip on LinkedIn. So that's what I was going through, and that's how I came across your profile. And I again, it was like completely organic. A lot of my people I follow was liking your content, and that's how I came across you. So, Adi, one more thing I wanted to ask you: what's the strategy behind the first comment below every post that you have put it like liking these posts, then go ahead and check the first comment? So what's the strategy behind that? Is there any particular calculated strategy on that?
Yes, there is. So about a year back, when I used to average about 100,000 views a day on my organically on my LinkedIn content. Right now, it's close to around 50 to 60,000. But that's again because the reach on the LinkedIn platform is decreasing. That is the truth. But what I understood was, okay, 100,000 people are seeing my post every single day, but most of them just move on to the next post in the feed or move on to consume another piece of content. Or just click away from it. But imagine this: you're getting a lot of traffic. We need to capture it in some way, just like how we add lead magnets inside the blog posts that we publish on our website. In order to capture the audience or the traffic that is coming in from Google, we need to have a way in which we get them onto a list, or we get them to follow us on LinkedIn, so that over time we can build an audience on LinkedIn and we can continue to market to them.
Exactly.
So I've run multiple experiments in this area. I've set up, like, say, a mini chatbot, which is a Facebook Messenger chatbot, to get people to subscribe to lists. But then Facebook changed. Right now, if you need to send out a broadcast to all of your Messenger chat subscribers, you got to pay. So Facebook changed that, so I lost the list. But it was interesting to understand how people are interested to anything as common on the LinkedIn page, experiences stories, say people talking about their experiences. And I thought, okay, how can I get people to subscribe? So we run a bunch of experiments, but I think what we found is that hashtags on LinkedIn are very important, because suppose a person follows a hashtag that you created, say hashtag the LinkedIn Influencer Show, which is our hashtag. They create they get people to follow them on LinkedIn. The chances are the content on a hashtag will be shown to the hashtag followers more commonly than the people who follow you. So suppose you publish a piece of content and you have hashtag the LinkedIn Influencer Show inside it, right? Chances are the piece of content that post will be shown to people who follow the hashtag more than people who follow you. So hashtags are prioritized way more than your followers, than you're following on LinkedIn. So once we understood this simple thing, we thought, okay, let's just create a branded hashtag like the LinkedIn Influencer Show. And after every single post, we get people to engage and get people to follow the hashtag, so that over time we can build an audience on LinkedIn. So that's a strategy that we're using right now.
That's amazing. That's such a calculated strategy. It looks like you have done a lot of testing around it.
We have to explain bread and butter.
Okay, what other tip would you give, like simple, very actionable tip to people who are looking to make it big on LinkedIn or want to become a content creator on LinkedIn? What tip would you give them?
Okay, the first and most obvious step will be, okay, you have to start creating, because when I say that only 3 million people or less than 1% of LinkedIn's user base is creating in the platform, that is the opportunity. The opportunity isn't like setting up some stupid automation software and reaching out to people and pitching your service. The opportunity is in creating good content and trying to build your brand on LinkedIn. Because I can promise you that this organic reach potential on LinkedIn is not going to exist, say, in 2 years. In 2 years, it's going to be like Facebook. This gap between the number of content creators and the number of content consumers simply won't be there. So the biggest advantage of LinkedIn is the organic reach potential, and that is what you have to capitalize on. That's obviously the first thing. But when you start creating on LinkedIn, you have to understand what type of content formats work on LinkedIn. So just like how I said, images, you're sharing an image doesn't work on LinkedIn. An image gallery post, which is the name we have for uploading multiple images to LinkedIn, so that we get people to click on the images and scroll through to see the full version of the images. So that is one content format. Another content format is experiential stories, where you start with talking about a story about like a failure you had or a success you had or an obstacle you faced while building a business or building a consulting practice or building a freelancing business, and how you overcame that hurdle or obstacle or that failure, and the lesson that you learned from it. So that's usually the format that I follow. I talk about the problem at the start, then I talk about what I did to solve that problem, and then I talk about the lesson that I learned from it. Most of my experiences stories follow this format. So I make it a habit every single day to note down, say, different thoughts I have or different experiences I face or come across. Say, like, even if it's a simple LinkedIn message from a student at the university who's trying to get an internship with us. I note it down and I create an experience story out of it. So that's another content format that you can follow. So again, there are way more. We have another format that we use for clients called resource giveaway posts, where imagine that you are in the SEO industry, right? And you have like an SEO tool or a guide or a walkthrough or an SOP or a simple template sheet that you use to, say, do keyword research for clients, right? This is a resource that many SEO managers or marketing directors or VPs of marketing who would be, say, your target audience on LinkedIn would be interested in. So they'd be interested in seeing this resource or this guide or this walkthrough or SOP that you have. So how about we create a post where we offer this resource for free? But the catch here is that unlike most, say, like blog posts where you just give the link to the resource for free, what you ask them to do is, okay, if you want free access to the resource, all you need to do is just comment yes below this post. So what happens is every single person who comments yes actually causes the algorithm to send a notification to their connection saying that, okay, Karan has commented yes below this post. Okay, has commented this on this post, and they take a look at the post and they see, okay, this is interesting. So chances are, if you're in the SEO industry, there's a lot of people in your own first degree network on LinkedIn who are in the SEO marketing industry as well. So this kind of induces an organic virality factor with more people commenting yes on the post and more people seeing the post and again commenting yes. So we use this effectively across industries, across different network sizes, and it always works. All you need to do is find a really good, valuable resource that you can offer to your audience for free. And instead of giving the link to where they can access the resource, just ask them to comment yes below the post. And after they comment yes, you can just reach out to them with a simple message on LinkedIn and sending them a link to the resource. There are multiple advantages. One, the posts go really viral. You get like hundreds of thousands of views on posts like these. And the other advantage is that your network will be built with people who fit your target buyer persona. Okay, I'll share one more. Slide posts. So we call them slide posts because LinkedIn allows you to upload a PDF file or a presentation file. So what happened was a few years back, LinkedIn acquired this website called Slideshare.net. Slideshare.net is the largest repository of slides or presentation files on the internet.
Right.
Now, ever since they made this acquisition, from a strategic point of view or from a monetary point of view, it makes sense for LinkedIn to promote this kind of content, this content format on LinkedIn. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, so we started noticing this when LinkedIn introduced this content format on the feed, and when we run experiments, we understood that okay, this content format is LinkedIn is biased towards this content format. They want to promote this content type. So ever since we understood this, and we started running experiments, and what we understood was okay, slide was a lot of dwell time because people have to scroll through each of the slides, and in addition to say like the time that they spend on the post, on the actual text post, they have to scroll through the slides and read through the slides, right? So
Yeah.
if you have like say 10 or 12 slides, they'll spend a considerable amount of time consuming that content. So the post is optimized for dwell time. That's the first factor. The second factor is that CTR. So if you have to scroll through, obviously you have to click on the post, right?
Yeah.
Again, another signal that the algorithm looks for. So it is optimized for CTR as well. This is also one of the reasons why you're seeing this slide posts increasingly on the LinkedIn feed because it's optimized for CTR, it's optimized for dwell time. So that's another content format that you can use on LinkedIn. And it's pretty easy to create because you don't need to be like, say, talking about finding your own stuff to add inside slide posts. You can just Google for, okay, 12 ways to optimize your profile on LinkedIn, or 12 ways to rank a blog post, right?
Exactly.
12 ways to add, I don't know, optimize your blog post for CTR or signups, lead magnets, stuff like that. And you get a lot of listicles in Google, and you can just take the headlines of each of those listicles and create a slide deck where you add one of those points inside each slide. So it's very easy to create as well.
That's really nice. And this slide thing, I never came, like I saw it, but I never thought that this is something. But now when you are saying about it, I totally makes sense because dwell time is, I guess, the secret to all the social media. The more dwell time, like if we leave Facebook aside, the more dwell time you have, the more attention you have of people, and the longer they are actually staying on your post, the social media will accordingly reward you as an influencer or as a creator. So that's one of the best things. And as you said, LinkedIn will be the next Facebook in next 2 years. Even Gary Vee have been saying that from very long time, that right now is the perfect time to actually take the major benefit of LinkedIn. I think this would be the only social media so far, if I think Quora and LinkedIn so far would be the only social media where you can genuinely make it big as a creator or a writer, where you don't have to do any kind of paid ads to get famous. If your content is really good, then you can just go ahead with that. The organic reach till date is really good.
But I have to say, right now the most attractive social media platform is TikTok. It's not even LinkedIn because TikTok is just insane in terms of the gap that I talked about, the gap between the number of creators and the number of consumers. Why, like say, but then the secondary advantages on LinkedIn come into play. Like when I told you about how enterprises and B2B marketers and a very large percentage of professionals in companies all across the world are on LinkedIn. That's not the case with TikTok yet. It will get there.
But TikTok is completely like banned in India now.
True, but the marketers who want to market on TikTok still find a way to do it.
Yeah, VPN servers and all. But
exactly, you can easily use proxies for this.
This one I'm also trying my hand in this Reels, YouTube Reels, not YouTube Reels, sorry, YouTube Shorts for one of my clients, and we are seeing results in terms of that the shorts gets picked up after 2 weeks of posting it. So it's like very weird concept, but sometimes it picks up to a point. I've seen people getting 1,000 subscribers a day, which is very hard to reach on YouTube, just by posting random shorts. So that is gonna be the new vertical form of content. And before we just end it, just a little about your business. Like I saw Growth Club and I saw both of your websites. You guys do free counseling.
Yes, we offer a free consultation for businesses who are looking to build their brand on LinkedIn and start generating leads. So we call it the LinkedIn strategy session. Again, it's just a fancy name for the consultation, but what we do is we walk you through a process so that you get an idea of, like, okay, how does this work? What is LinkedIn about? How do I start generating traction on LinkedIn? How do I build my network? How do I optimize my profile?
That's
We walk them through the process and give them an idea of, like, what's possible on LinkedIn.
That's amazing. And in fact, when I came across your website, I loved this term, let's talk no obligations, so much. To be very honest, I have a client in fitness who does free consultations like that, and I told her that we are definitely above your form. We are just writing this, let's talk no obligation. It makes everyone just click for the same, that just 15-minute discussion will not hurt anyone. So that's really nice way to actually get connected to more and more people. And I'm going to drop your LinkedIn link below in the show notes, that
Awesome.
people who are looking for B2B business, I think this is the way to go. Like, if you are in a company who is looking for help, or if you're looking to get trained also, and they offer a lot of services, different kind of services, which you can check on their website as well. If I'm not wrong, it's growthix.com,
It's
right?
growthclub.org.
Oh, growclub.org. Okay, so I'll drop that as well below, and get in touch with him if you are looking for it. 15-minute counseling, free consultation would not hurt anyone. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. And if you guys are loving the podcast, just go ahead and click on the subscribe button, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.